I'm Jim Collison, live from our virtual studios around the world, or at least in Nebraska. This is Gallup's Theme Thursday, Season 6, recorded on June 25th, 2020. Theme Thursday is a Gallup webcast series that dives deep into the CliftonStrengths themes, one theme at a time this season, based on developing teams and managers with CliftonStrengths. And today's theme is harmony. If you're listening live, join us in the chat room. If you're on the YouTube page, or if you're on a live page, there's a link right above me that has the YouTube instance. You can take it to it. That also works live, or the recorded version, by the way. The chat room will go along with the video. So if you've missed it, or you're listening on the podcast side of things, head out to YouTube, check it out. It's a great experience. If you have questions after the fact, you can always send us an email, coaching@gallup.com. And I mentioned subscribe to us there on YouTube, like the video. That always helps us out. And then you can subscribe to this as a podcast just by searching Gallup Webcast. Micah Librant is our host today. She's a workplace consultant with me here at Gallup. And Micah, great to see you. Welcome back to Theme Thursday.
Thanks, Jim. Great to be here. This season we are talking about managers and teams. And in order to do that, we're diving into every single one of our 34 CliftonStrengths themes through the lens of team. We know from our studies in leadership that strong teams have 5 things going for them. You can read more about those 5 in the introductory pages around page 27 in the English copy of the book Strengths-Based Leadership. Today, we're going to use these 5 truths of a strong team to talk about harmony. And we're going domain by domain. So we are kind of right there marinating in the middle of those relationship building themes. And I hope that after we've unpacked harmony across these 5 truths of how they contribute to a strong team, you can walk away with a greater appreciation for what this theme brings individually, not just saying, oh, it's a relationship building theme, so it means they build relationships, but instead really being able to honor and appreciate and maybe actively even use your harmony to answer that question of how do they build relationships and how does that connect to strengthening a team. So let's start here with a short definition of harmony that you'll find written this way if it's on your top 5 or your top 10 of your CliftonStrengths 34 report. If you have harmony, you look for consensus. You don't enjoy conflict. Rather, you seek areas of agreement. And as a quick reminder, we've got 5 previous seasons that go even deeper into defining and helping you name and value harmony. What we're going to talk about today is how do we aim that toward helping create a stronger team. The first truth of strong teams is fun to talk about with harmony because it's specifically about conflict, which we talked about in the definition. The first truth of a strong team is how they handle conflict. Conflict doesn't destroy a strong team because strong teams focus on results.
So while there might be conflict in the title or in the definition of this one, when we think about focusing on results with harmony, that's kind of interesting. So Micah, what does it mean to focus on results with harmony?
So someone with dominant harmony talent is going to calibrate on shared goals across a team. They can quickly focus on what is similar across people, what they agree on. They can find those areas where they're on the same page. They can also create them through, I think, snippets of agreement and then branch out from there. So if you were setting a scale to weigh something, harmony is going to set that empty weight or that tare as where we agree. That's their starting point. So focusing on results for harmony means they'll do 2 things. One, they're going to be drawn to the shared goals or the shared agreement across the team. The goals are the results that are equally important to people. And 2, their own results that they're focusing on or their own goals are going to be those that create agreement or consensus among others.
So how would harmony track progress then?
Probably by checking in with other people, either out loud or even through their own gut feeling on how everyone is responding to or feeling regarding the progress toward a goal. So we might all start at the same beginning and all have this agreement of here's where we're going, but someone with harmony can help your team understand what has changed as we get closer to those results that we're aiming toward. They can help you understand what the implications of anything that's changed may be, and how we can recalibrate to continue to progress together through areas of agreement.
Okay, let's look at truth number 2.
The second truth of strong teams. It says strong teams prioritize what's best for the organization, and then they move forward.
So how does someone with harmony focus kind of on the larger goal rather than just their own?
Pretty naturally. You'll find with a lot of these relationship building themes that they are pretty others focused, or they make sense of things through other people. It's no different for harmony. It might be incredibly important, I think, for someone with dominant harmony to always have a home base, a comfort zone of at least one shared priority across the team or across the organization. That's going to help them account for variance in areas where people are not on the same page, in areas where there is conflict or disagreement, or even just emotionally differing perspectives. But if that person with harmony can explicitly see the areas of agreement that hold true to, say, one shared value or one shared agreement of where we're going and what's important, that's going to help them have a platform to stand on when they can bring other people into agreement and help us practically move forward together. So you might consider, if this is somebody on your team, you might consider making them the defender of the team values, or providing them a platform to share what those ultimate shared motivations are for the team, the organization, or the community. Now, depending on their other themes, this might be something that you just want them to whisper into your ear as the manager, knowing that they've got their finger on the pulse of where we agree and where we don't. It may also be something that you want to hand them the microphone and help them sort of hand them the megaphone, might even be a better picture, and help them shout it from the rooftops.
What might inspire someone with harmony to take action?
They're going to notice areas where conflict is not necessary, because to them, consensus speaks more loudly. So I would say that someone with harmony is inspired when they see potential to agree more than we already are. In order to activate on that insight, someone with harmony needs exposure to everyone who's involved. So find ways that they can spend time, either individually or as a group, with their team, with their coworkers. Encourage them to discuss their approach to a current challenge, or even just share meaningful personal motivations, because the closer they can get to the people, the more they can understand and sort of, I think, feel out those areas of potential agreement.
Sounds like we need some harmony folks right now, doesn't it?
We sure do. You'll notice in the talent mindfulness today, this one's pretty different. But it really is. I think about somebody with harmony in a team being the person who can take those highs and lows of the emotion of a team and sort of just soften the peaks and valleys. They're the emotional neutralizer.
Especially as we think at a national or global level, sometimes it seems we can get a little, we get a little hopeless, because it's like, I don't know if I can have an effect. And yet, at the local level, down when we meet in teams and in groups, that can have people with harmony can have a huge impact.
I think about, set against where we are right now. And I know that people will listen to this for decades to come, but as humans, we're always in conflict, right? Guns, germs, steel. But the effect that harmony can always have isn't, I'm going to solve it, I'm going to make everybody get along. It's, I found a place where we can start. Right. It's not, this is going to be the solution, but it is, hey guys, I see one simple area that we agree upon. And if we can, it's sort of like, I think about somebody with harmony as being, if you're climbing a mountain, they're that one foothold that helps you take the next step.
I use the word consensus, and I really like that word. Okay, let's look at truth number 3.
Truth number 3, members of strong teams are as committed to their personal lives as they are to their work.
And how might harmony show up in somebody's personal life?
I think sometimes they could appear to be eagerly agreeable. It doesn't mean they don't have their own opinions. When they share what they're feeling, you will know. They're likely good at helping diffuse emotion, finding ways to go around conflict toward agreement instead of through conflict toward agreement. They might be advocates for change, champions offering solutions other than argument. I think maybe social justice issues could be incredibly important, or even just conversations about collaboration, about togetherness, about where we agree.
One of the tools we've been giving is, I think, a really important part of the podcast this season, in season 6, are these questions that managers can use. Maybe they see this in someone's personal life and that can translate into what they're doing on the team. What are some questions? And by the way, they're in this for everyone we've done this season. You can go back. They're available in the transcripts if you want to see those. What are some questions a manager could bring or could ask someone with harmony?
You could say, what brings you peace? How have you helped people reach agreement? What do you like best about your community? What sorts of activities make you feel calm or connected? Jim mentioned all of these are in every single podcast. You could ask them yourself. You could also ask everybody on your team to listen to one of these podcasts of their top 5 and come with some answers to those
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. I like number 2. That's my favorite. Truth number 4.
Strong teams embrace diversity. What we know is that having a team composed of individuals who look at issues similarly or have been the product of comparable backgrounds, who have experienced, similar track records of and approaches of solving problems is not a sound basis for success. That when we come from different places, we're actually quite a bit stronger.
And if we're going to boil this down, what would be some descriptors that we could use for harmony?
Yeah. So, what we're looking at across this truth is just what is different about the theme that you might not get from other themes. And one way to do that is to give it some descriptive words. So, for somebody with harmony, you might call them intuitive, a referee, a connector, a builder. There's an element of social efficiency to harmony that it really is, I think, practical, agreement seeking, in some ways quietly influential. And I threw in this word too, focused. I think that there is something about harmony where it's almost an impatience with arguments that they know are not going to go anywhere, and a desire to laser beam in on something that we can all see from a similar angle, looking for consensus and really focusing on it.
What unique perspective does harmony bring to a team, do you think?
Well, they can help focus the team on areas where we agree. They can spend more of their energy moving forward, or the whole team can once we do that, and less energy aligning together. So, to borrow something maybe most of us are familiar with, it's less storming and more forming, or less forming and more storming. So it's less about how do we get along and more about let's move forward. Here's where we agree. I think when tensions rise, they can diffuse the emotions of extremes. We talked about that, sort of neutralizing the highs and lows, bringing everyone back to a positive space. They don't really run super hot or super cold. They tend to be pretty steady, and that can create stability and comfort. I think it's one of those themes that you certainly notice when they're gone. Harmony tends to be a little bit quieter, a little bit gentler than some of these other themes. But gosh, when they're not around, you certainly miss that quiet calmness.
I think you said quiet influencer. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that term. Okay, let's look at truth number 5.
This is strong teams are magnets for talent. We know that great talent hangs out with other great talent, but that's sort of the result of all of this. And what this truth is really about is if you want to spot a strong team or figure out where you're really strong, look at that team that everybody's scrambling to be a part of.
And what are others attracted to? What's this harmony? What does it do to attract people?
What's magnetic about it, right? The emotional safety of not getting too wrapped up in conflict, the practical comfort of getting to work on areas that we agree upon, their instinctive ability to detect common ground. They can find potential for really great shared goals that other people might miss altogether simply because they're not looking for them.
And how might you describe that gift that harmony brings that others will want more of?
There's something steady about the way that they approach their work. They're likely to find something that they can agree with and align with, and that makes them excellent supporters, but it also makes them truly inspirational leaders. If you're lucky enough to have someone on your team with high harmony, make an intentional effort to pick up on what they're picking up. Ask them if there are opportunities for partnership or for collaboration among the team that maybe we're missing. Ask them about motivations of individuals that are distracting. They can bring really, I think, a focused sense of emotion that helps everyone move forward.
All right, let's review the 5 again.
Results, not conflict. Do what's best for the organization and then move forward. Work and personal lives are equally important. They embrace diversity, and strong teams are magnets for talent. You can read more about these in strengths-based leadership. You can hire a Gallup certified coach to help your team work through it. You can also just think about these 5 as perhaps opportunities for you to aim toward. I think it's important that when you're looking at the strengths DNA of your team profile, you're doing it in pursuit of a specific goal. Here's 5 goals that you could choose to focus on.
Coaches, maybe a great idea to walk your managers through these goals to remind them, just like we've done for you every single week here on Theme Thursday, just a great opportunity to work through those. Speaking of great opportunity, Micah, we spent a bunch of time this season and last working through some talent mindfulnesses. What do you have for us Did I say talent mindfulnesses? Are they
Mindfulnesses. I think I planted that
mindful
in your
nigh?
brain by saying
Yeah.
multiple mindfulnesses.
All right.
I
Let's
got
dig
this
in.
one.
All right.
So,
All right.
if you're new to this, talent mindfulness is different from the rest of our podcast. It'll be the last 3 to 5 minutes, and we'll wrap up harmony after this. So, if it's not for you, just skip ahead and hear Jim close. But today is going to be a little bit different than previous talent mindfulness exercises. This is still a practice for you. So set down that idea to learn more about harmony and instead shuffle into a different space if you can. What makes today's different is it's not reflection and it's not projection. It's just 3 to 5 minutes where I invite you to clear your head and pay attention to the natural rhythms of thought and feeling that you have inside you. It's not scientifically or overtly linked to the harmony theme, but it might help you experience through mindfulness one of the effects that someone with harmony can bring to a team. So get comfortable, do something to focus your attention, close your eyes if you can. This is one you shouldn't do if you're driving. So if you're listening to this while you're driving, just press pause, flag this, and come back to it later. Slow your breathing. Slow your thinking. Slow the cycle of must do, should do, need to do that spins inside your head. Imagine a single string of brightly colored yarn tied to you on one end, and on the other end, tied to each thing you need to do. Maybe you have lots of strings coming out of you in many different directions. One string for every commitment you have today, every task, every person, every expectation. It can feel tense. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel like a messy knot. Allow that feeling to be there. And for this time right now, you have no job to do. The only commitment that matters is for you to be here with yourself. The only person you're accountable for in this moment is you. For the next few minutes, and those might be the only few minutes of your week even, you are not available for anyone or anything else. Imagine the tension of those strings of yarn releasing. That bright colored yarn that was once connected to so many other places is released and falls to the floor. As you look down, before you can see those piles of yarn on the floor, they disappear into thin air and they're gone. You are free to be present with yourself. So let's make the most of that. For just a while, I'm going to be silent and let you get acquainted with your own self. If you need something to hold your attention in this space, you might focus on your breath, or you might focus on this phrase: all I need is within me now. Without the highs and lows of your commitments, your expectations, or your plans, where does your mind go? Imagine this sacred space lasted. If you had the rest of this day to follow your own ideas or desires, what would you most want to spend it doing? What does that tell you about your strengths? Which of your strengths is yearning to be called upon? Which of your instincts is ready to help you solve a problem? What part of you do you need to listen to more closely? What answer do you have within you just begging for you to hear? I'll be quiet for just a few more moments. Remember those pieces of yarn. They're beautiful. Our connection to work, our promises that we make to ourselves and to others, we're wired for that. We're made to make great things, to do great things. Life isn't about retreat or release. It's about using what we have to improve our lives and the lives of others. Each of those brightly colored pieces of yarn, each of those must do's and should do's and said I woulds, they each work better when we listen. When we offer just enough patience to hear others and serve others and be present with others. But we have to start by paying ourselves and our own talents that same grace. Thanks for listening to yourself today. Next, you can take those pieces of yarn back and listen more intentionally to other people. That's your talent mindfulness for today.
Thanks for doing that, Micah. Appreciate that. It's always good to have some time of reflection. We'd love to hear, by the way, how you're using these. What kind of results are you seeing with them? Send us an email, coaching@gallup.com. We'd love to hear from you that as well. Just a couple reminders on the way out. One, if you want to get access to all our resources around strengths, available on our Clifton Strengths page. Just go to gallup.com/CliftonStrengths, really the portal, and actually it's got a brand new kind of front end look and feel. We just updated that here last weekend. Check it out if you haven't been out there in a while. Gallup.com/CliftonStrengths, easiest way to sign into Gallup Access that way. As well, if you have questions, you can email us coaching@gallup.com. If you want to follow the live schedule of all the live programs we do, maybe you should come out and join us live. The best is live. Follow us on Eventbrite, gallup.eventbrite.com. Love to have you join us in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/call-to-coach. And of course, on LinkedIn, maybe you're not a Facebooker, and that's okay. Join us by searching Clifton Strengths Trained Coaches on LinkedIn. We'd love to have you do that as well. If you're listening live, stay around for a little bit of the mid-show. We'll do that. And again, live is best. But thanks for listening to the recorded version as well. We'll see you back here. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody.